Hello everyone and welcome to Game 3 between TLO and Grubby, and let me just get my nice names up here. And that last game, in case you have not seen it, it was great. This is a best of 7 series. It is now tied up 1-1 between TLO and Grubby. TLO listening to music, as we saw in the last game, this is a friendly matchup, so it is not from a tournament. It is on Battle.net on the European server, as these two players are from Europe. And really, that last game was so good from both these players. TLO eventually won it out, despite Grubby having the gold base advantage, and really that last engagement was so good for TLO that he just skyrocketed forward. And well, take my word for it, go watch it because it was awesome. So this is going to be Game 3 of the best of 7 series. Hopefully we will get 7 games because these two players are so good. And it is going to be on Terminus. And is this the old version or the new version? It is the... no, that's not the map. I was going to say that this used to be a Rich Vespine Geyser, but that is not on this map. Sorry, my bad. So this map is actually a very, 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 very large map. It's one of the largest you can find. It is not currently on the ladder pool from Battle.net. It is from the GSL. And these 3 bases are actually so easy to take, especially for Terran, where they just wall off this front, siege up a few tanks, and have 3 free bases to macro off of. So look for this game to be the longest of the 3 that we have, the 2 that we have seen yet. TLO going for a barracks. Look for him. He has actually mining gas, so he did go for one barracks fast expansion in the last game, but deciding that he is going to go for gas. And Grubby actually with a very lucky scout, getting his scout in the first position that he actually checks. TLO meanwhile checking this left position, and now he does have to suspect that Grubby is here because players usually scout the closest spawns, and since Grubby's probe actually got there that fast, TLO should know that it either came from the left or right side. Unfortunately, TLO looks like he's going to actually scout the bottom side of the map, so he is distracted by that probe trying to chase him out, but really he should know at this point that Grubby is on the left side of the map, or actually suspected. So he should have actually sent his FCV to the right side instead of that bottom side, because it is just as far as the other one. And once again, that was just because that probe from Grubby actually came there so fast that he has to suspect him from being on the left or right side. And that being said, TLO is actually throwing down a very fast factory and not going to go for an expansion. He might build a few Hellions from here as well as a starport just to drop the main base and expand behind that. Meanwhile, Grubby going for the exact same build, getting those two assimilators very fast and actually throwing down a gateway at this point. 2 more gateways, so you will be going into 3-gate expo with the emphasis on those sentries just to keep him safe. I love, once again, this harass with the stalker because he can outrange and outrun the marines. So until there is a bunker up here, he can harass almost indefinitely. He is going to spot this Hellion as well, so he will be well prepared. And yeah, Grubby going for a 3-gate expo instead of that very fast robotics facility that actually played so well for him in the last 2 games. And this with the probe placement on hold position, this Hellion not even taking a single shot, being forced into submission by these sentries with that force field. So great pick off by Grubby. Not the best control by TLO. He could have suspected that, or at least taking a shot or 2 off on those sentries before it died. But that is not too big of a deal because the sentries would have actually regened their shields quite fast. So TLO getting a small scout off, actually seeing that there were 2 sentries up here might hint at the 3-gate FE 2 more Hellions making their way across the map, gonna intercept this Stalker, and the Stalker gonna force these Hellions to push back. TLO just now double expanding, and I love this decision because once he plants those 2 bunkers on the low ground, he is actually going to be so safe against any kind of gateway push, since he did see those 2 sentries he probably suspects at these 3 gate expos. And really that will enable him to just get these 2 command centers up and running so fast. And really, I can't say how much I love this play by TLO. As I said, 2 bunkers will just make him so safe against this heavy gateway composition. There is just now 1 observer making its way across the map. And getting a second observer, Grubby, I guess he just feels like he needs a bigger map control at this point in this very large map. He is a bit supply blocked, so this observer not starting as fast as he could have. He did actually waste a chrono boost on there while he was supply blocked. So small blunder, not too big of a deal. These probes not mining for just a second, going on strike. They finally got what they wanted and are starting to mine. Now TLO is going to throw down more bunkers down here and going to lift off these 2 orbital commands to actually get the second and third base as soon as he can, and this is so good by TLO. If he can actually manage to hold this, he will be in such a great position, and I do think that he will actually hold this because there is really no tech out by Grubby. Just now his first Immortal is halfway done, and this small group of gateway units will not be able to engage a bunker like this unless he has 2 or 3 Immortals with that small group of gateway units. So TLO looking great in this game, is actually going to shoot forward with his economy. Right now it's only 34 to 41 harvesters, but with that triple SCV production as well as those triple mules, he will be so far ahead soon enough. The observer finally making his way in the main base of TLO. He is going to spot that expansion. He might question how many units there are here, but I don't think he's going to go and spot that 3rd base. Did he actually go and spot that? No, he did not. So he does not know about a 3rd base, and really if Grubby isn't careful, he might fall deadly behind at this point. These Hellions going to poke forward, a lot of zealots and sentries, huge shots on the sentries, taking out 2 sentries that had full energy here. 1 Hellion being picked off, but the Zealots not going to be able to engage these Hellions once the force fields are up, and really that was a great exchange by TLO. 1 Hellion for 2 sentries that were full on energy. That is just going to be that much less force fields to actually deal with in the mid game. And I don't think that Grubby actually scouted this expansion yet, so he does not know about this 3rd base, and that observer is in position to do it. He actually sees everything that is in the main base of TLO. It does look kind of normal at this point, unless you count precisely the amount of units that TLO has. You can't really suspect that he has a 3rd base because his production is actually looking very, very normal for 2 bases. Maybe once another couple more production facilities go up, he will suspect that he cannot actually support this on only 2 bases. But for now, Grubby is actually just in the blind at this point. He is getting zealot legs as well as weapons level 1, and really this time we have to suspect this choice. We have to question this choice of weapons level 1. It is always a great debate between pros if you should get armor or weapons, especially if you're going to go for zealot legs. The +1 armor actually makes them so much more robust against the Marines especially. And if you are going to go for zealot charge instead of blink, I do feel like the +1 armor is the best choice. But Grubby knows best. We will just have to wait and see what he decides to do. Of course, he does have 2 Immortals in the army to actually deal a lot of damage and to push the debate in favor of getting +1 weapons, which is now just done. These Immortals will actually do 55 damage against these Marauders. You just have to make sure that they hit Marauders and not Marines, because that is going to do a lot of damage if you don't. TLO still on his 3 bases. Does Grubby actually see this? He does see it now, so he did notice that there was something off with TLO's play and sees that there is a 3rd base. The income tab showing 58 to 57 harvesters for TLO in favor of Grubby, but TLO actually came back in that harvester count and now is actually coming back in supply as well, so it really is paying off. You can see 2400 to 1500 minerals per minute. A drug shrine almost done for Grubby, so he will be producing a lot of DTs as he did last game and morphing them into Archons. So we will be seeing the very, very, very standard conventional PvT out of Grubby, which is a lot of Zealots and a lot of Archons in the late game. Getting those Colossus only in the very late game when the Archon and Zealots are not efficient enough to deal with all that massive amount of ghosts that are going to be coming out of the Terran player. There are already 3 ghosts on the field, and these are going to work wonders against the Immortals and the Zealots. Remember, if the Zealots always bunch up when they attack, and if there is some nice EMPs, they could actually take out this entire army, all the shields, 50 shields, 80 shields, and 100 shields per EMP on all those units. So that might be huge. Look for the big EMPs on this army. Not EMPing just yet. Where are the EMPs from TLO? These ghosts are still full of energy. I guess there he goes, finally the EMP on the sentries, but they did manage to throw down 3 force fields, and TLO gonna actually be able to push this back. He needs to EMP these Immortals so that the Marauders actually do full damage to them. 2 force fields gonna delay this push ever so slightly. Grubby actually going to position himself on the corner here. I don't know if I necessarily like that, because it will make these buildings, these forward buildings, a bit more vulnerable to TLO's push. He could actually get a nice concave here while TLO is in the choke. But TLO pushing, falling back a tiny bit, and I guess Grubby had the units to actually pull this, push this back. Ground armor, I'm losing my words. Ground armor level 1 as well as weapons level 3 for Grubby. So he is really pushing out those upgrades so fast. Only 1-1 is done for TLO. Gonna try and engage once again down here. I would actually love to see a drop at the 3rd base or inside the main base while he does this. And these ghosts are going to push forward. We'll get 1 Immortal. Going to get all these Zealots as well as the nice last Immortal. And now this entire army is depleted of shields except for a single Stalker and a couple of Zealots. And really this is going to be it for Grubby. This is just so many units from TLO. These medevacs healing away at everything. And he really needs to focus down the Immortals down. One more Immortal popping up, doing a lot more damage. But TLO is looking so good right now. He is just streaming in reinforcements. That is 4 more medevacs going to be able to heal this up. And this might not look like much, but these are going to do such a difference at this point, because they are all full of energy. You can hear the snipes going off on the Zealots. And really that is going to be it. The scan going up for TLO just to spot those DTs. And those DTs did not do anything in this game. TLO will be able to pick off this Nexus or even this one. Going to force all the probes from actually going down. He is killing 25 probes. I guess a DT actually took down this 3rd base while I wasn't watching. But TLO is just looking so good. I can't emphasize that enough. All these medevacs healing everything, enabling them to stim time and time again. And really this small bunch of Marine Marauder ghosts are going to stay alive forever. There it is, GG from Grubby. So we are going into Game 4, TLO leading 2-1 in the series.